my channel, and thanks for joining me for this little adventure. As you can see, I am in my vehicle driving. I'm going on a little photographic adventure today. I've decided I've had enough for a while of desert photography and all the dry areas. So my plan today is to head down to the coast, basically to do some seascapes, hoping for some seascapes if the weather allows, and also some forest photography or woodland photography as people call it, but this will be more like forest photography because I'll be heading into some rather serious forest. And the area I'm heading to is a town called Knysna, which is on the South African coast in an area called the Garden Route. And it's called the Garden Route for a very good reason, because of the beautiful plants and forests, even some elephants in the forest. So let's see what we can capture today. It's about a 240 kilometer trip, so I'm not going to bore you with my chatting all the way, but I'll do a bit of filming along the way. I'm also taking a very slow drive, no rush. I'll be stopping along the way to check potential places to shoot, and yeah, maybe even spend some time in the forest before I head down to the coast, because I'm really only interested in getting down to the ocean maybe an hour or two before sunset. I've already investigated a few places to shoot sunset. I've got a pretty good idea where I want to be, so now that must just work out. But thanks for joining me, and yes, onwards and forwards. Well, now the paved road has changed from a high quality tarmac road to a dual lane road to a single lane cement concrete road with dirt on the side. So if there's any oncoming traffic, you've got to turn off to the side. But just so far so good, not a bad road. Probably about 50 kilometers of this. Yeah, 35 kilometers of this. Then I'll go back onto a tarmac road for another probably 25 kilometers, and I'll turn off, and then I'll slowly head into the mountains. For the last 100 and something kilometers, it'll be a dirt road winding through the mountains. I'm not sure of the condition of that road, but I'm taking the scenic route, not the quick or the easy route today. So if the road's really bad, I'll just go slowly, no problem. Okay, now there's a little bit of tarmac here again, but it's just actually where the road crosses a railway track. And as you can see in front, we're changing back to single lane concrete road. But so far no complaints. I've only had one vehicle from the front on the concrete side of the road, and one on the bridge, fortunately, so not too bad. I said that too early. Here's another one. So we're going to be doing a get off the road overtaking maneuver here. The main thing is dust and small stones that fly up. But beautiful day, temperature quite cool. Outside I see 9.5 degrees Celsius. Inside it's a comfortable 22. But what I do like is we seem to have quite a bit of broken clouds about, and that is good for the future of the day's photography, I think. As you can see in the front, up ahead, there's some beautiful mountains. We've got another 9.5 kilometers to go before I turn off onto a tarmac road, the November 9, the N9, that actually leads down to the coast. So then there's probably about 15 or 20 kilometers of very nice road before I really get off the paven track or the proven track. So we'll see how that goes, but so far so good. Well, I've reached the end of the concrete road, so now I've got a bit of a
turn left onto Albert Street.
Decent piece of road. Please ignore the GPS. It wants to take me through this little town of Willowmore. I'm not really interested in going through Willowmore. I'm going to bypass it. So we'll see how well Mrs. Garmin handles this. I must admit, I'm not all that impressed with this little Garmin Street Pilot, whatever it is called, that I have here. Quite frankly, my iPhone with Google Maps navigates far better. But anyway, here we go. Now we're heading towards
in 2 kilometers, turn left onto Knysna Street.
the ocean. 88 kilometers of mountain paths winding through the Outeniekwa mountains down to the coast. It starts off at the semi-desert arid Karoo type of area, and then it descends into the forest, semi-tropical forest area, the Knysna forest, with little rivers and lots of water. Completely different type of environment in a couple of kilometers, so I'm looking forward to that. One thing I have noticed on the road today is how quiet the road is. Okay, it's a weekday, so it's no holidays or anything, but I've traveled this road pre-COVID, and it's definitely very quiet compared to what it was 18 months, 2 years ago before COVID. And there's no travel restrictions at the moment, though we are still under lockdown with curfew and lots of rules, a lot of them silly rules, but that's another story. But yes, people are not traveling, and I'm not sure why. Are they scared, or is it a financial situation? Because I think a lot of people have been hit really, really badly by the whole COVID thing. But yes, fun and games, truck up ahead, so I'm going to have to make a overtaking maneuver somewhere, so let me rather concentrate on that. Looks like there was some rain over here. The road is wet. It's about another 9.5 kilometers to my turn off, Uniondale turn off, but I can see some clouds ahead, so yes, that could bode both bad and good for the photo trip. I love clouds, but hopefully it's not totally cloudy. But if it's totally cloudy, I think I will spend more time in the forest, because then that'll work with a diffused light. Maybe not so much on the ocean, but maybe some grey shots. Anyway, no use trying to figure out ahead of time what that'll be like. But it's most definitely wet over here, and this area can definitely do with some rain. So it's not a bad thing altogether. But as you can see, still very arid type of plants here, very low bushes, nicely varied bushes, and a lot of them are either flowering or starting to flower, because it's supposed to be spring anyway. Yes, I'm getting the first drops of water on the windscreen, so yes, maybe it's going to be a wet couple of days at the coast. Well, up ahead we see the little town of Uniondale. Descending down a bit of a mountain pass here. It's actually called Uniondale Heights. So winding down the mountain, the first mountain we're winding down, and it looks like it's either foggy up ahead or it's raining. Either way, I don't really care. It might just make for some beautiful scenery, and I'll start stopping for photos. But yes, here's we have the first raindrops on the windscreen. Something we haven't had rain in this area for I would say 6 months almost, so nobody is going to complain if it rains, but I would prefer it not raining all the time that I'm at the coast. Anyway, here comes my turn off,
turn
the
left
R339. Let's see what happens from here. The adventure begins. This road I've never traveled before, so it could only be fun. Right now it's a tar road, a paved road, but I think pretty soon it's going to change into a non-paved road.
In 3 kilometers, turn left onto Queen Street.
This road looks extremely slippery. It's very smooth, and you can see it's only rained a bit, but the water hasn't really drained that well, and especially since it hasn't rained for a while, I'm being a bit cautious, because I know from experience after a long dry spell there's a lot of oil and rubber and stuff on the road, and when it then rains it gets extremely slippery. But yes, welcome to Uniondale. A rather wet Uniondale. I was hoping to maybe stop and do a little video clip with a drone. I'm trying to do that with a lot of the smaller towns in South Africa, but it's not going to happen today. Maybe on the way back in a few days' time I'll get that opportunity. I also want to have a look at the local church, because I'm also working on a series of churches in small South African towns, but I'm not seeing a church at the moment. I'll keep an eye open. Got to be one somewhere. Every little town has at least one church. Oh, I can see it up ahead. Most likely I would guess it would be the NG church, the Dutch church. But it's nice and wet here, beautiful. I can only hope that this rain will eventually extend a bit more into the Karoo area as well. We can only hope that we get more of this. So I'm hoping this camera that I'm using is behaving itself. I'm not sure if it's in FPV or stabilized, what stabilized mode it is in. So with a bit of luck it is in FPV mode. It should default to that, but I don't know, I haven't really used it much. I'm also using it without the wireless mic at the moment, so that
700 meters, turn left onto Queen Street, then take the first right.
Could also mean, sorry for the interruption there by the GPS, it could also mean that the sound is maybe not perfect, but for inside the car here it's relatively quiet in the car, it should be fine. I'm not driving extremely fast, so the road noise is not high, and yes, this car's quiet anyway. But yes, quite wet here in town. I think it's time to put some lights on even. Clean
Turn
the window.
left onto Queen Street, then take the first right.
Well, here we are now in the mountain pass. 88 kilometers of this. At the moment it's a paved road, so it's quite nice, but I know this is not going to last. But it's absolutely beautiful here. Beautiful rock formations. I've already seen a little waterfall next to the road, and a pool, a nice quiet pool with reflections. The rain has now stopped. It's still quite cloudy. You can see it did rain here earlier on, but it's not too bad at the moment. The road condition is actually excellent. Only seen 2 vehicles from the front, and I've overtaken a vehicle as I entered the pass. So far so good. Beautiful. I'm glad I took this road. I just hope I don't regret it when we get to the dirt part, because if it rained a lot there it might be rather muddy and messy. But it doesn't get much better than this as far as off the beaten track roads go. And I would actually love to drive this road or ride this road with a motorbike. I think it would be really fun. It's winding left, right, up, down. So it would be fun. But yes, so far so good. Progress. My destination is probably another 100, just over 100 kilometers away. But we're getting there. Well, here the fun starts. No more paved road. Onto the dirt road, just past the little town of Outeniekwa. So let's see. This is going to be a bit messy because it's a bit muddy. Hope I don't regret my decision, but hey, I've got the whole day, and I've got a 4-wheel drive vehicle, so I will take it as it comes. But I can now
700 meters, turn right onto Minor Highway.
I can now see why they say this is the slow road down to the coast. Anyway, I will join you again if anything of interest happens or there's a beautiful spot. Well, this road might not be the best in terms of quality. Unfortunately, it's quite rough. But the main problem is it's got little potholes, and it just rained, and a lot of the potholes are filled with water, so you can't actually see them. But that doesn't matter. It's fantastically scenic. It's beautiful. Winding road down the mountainside. Some of these places, I don't know what will happen if you get a vehicle from the front. Somebody's going to have to reverse. But this is definitely worth it. Unfortunately, with the rain, the road is extremely slippery. And with these sharp 90 to 180 degree turns, you've got to go really slowly. But yes, it's worth the beauty, and I can see that I will probably pretty soon stop and grab the camera and start shooting a bit. I've already seen 1 or 2 scenes, but of course the problem is, where do you stop here? It's not that easy on this winding road, because if you do stop, you'll have to stop in the middle of the road. So if anybody else comes around, that might be a problem. But beautiful flowers, beautiful plants, valleys, mountains, some clouds. This is absolutely gorgeous. Whoa. Vehicle from the front, and he was in a rush. I can't believe that a guy drives like this on this road, but anyway, and no lights. So I have to be really cautious. Definitely not pulling over where the road is so narrow. Cold water turn, it says. Cold water, it's only 6 degrees Celsius outside, so I'm sure the water is cold around here. Every now and then the car warns me that it's losing traction, so this mud is really slippery. Here's a spot where you can pull over, but it's unfortunately not a photogenic spot, so I don't know who made that plan. Maybe it's an overtaking spot and not a photo spot. But at least the potholes are stopped. It's not so bad at the moment. I've also forgotten that the car's suspension was in sports mode, so it was quite hard. I've changed it to comfortable ride, comfort mode, so that actually helps with a rather bumpy road. Some places a bit corrugated. But yes, I'm enjoying this drive. Beautiful. Nice to see some flowers next to the road. I'm sure if there's a place around here to pull off, it would make a beautiful place to camp, to overnight. I know probably about 50 k's from here there's a spot. There's actually a place called Spitskop Outlook Point, and there I know people have camped. I don't know if you're supposed to camp over there overnight, but I know some people has, because I've seen the photos of the tents there. But yes, what a beautiful part of the country. I'm really enjoying this. I've gotten out twice already, just for a few quick shots. Didn't even bother with a tripod, just handheld, just for purposes of reference. But the light is actually not bad, and all these beautiful yellow flowers next to the road and on the hillsides makes it absolutely gorgeous. And of course, being so wet, moist, everything, the colors are really popping. But yes, this is quite a road to drive. I'll be back. I definitely will be back to do some serious shooting here sometime. I must really see if there's somewhere a spot that, or if around here there's a place where you can camp, because I would love to spend a few days just in this area. But the road, I had a look at the road now when I got out. It's interesting. It's quite a fine clay compound, and being wet, it is very slippery and makes a huge mess. The car has changed color from silver to muddy grey. So when I get back home, people will definitely know that I was off the beaten track a bit. But I don't really mind a dirty car, especially not when it goes along with beauty like this. I mean, just look at this, gorgeous. We're not even in the forest yet, and it's already getting forest-like over here. Lichen on the trees, and lots of plants, and I've seen 1 or 2 fir The road is in relatively good condition. I don't know how often this road is maintained, but taking into account it's a dirt road on a mountainside where it's a rather wet environment, it is in a beautiful shape. No complaints about it, but I wouldn't like to go much faster than about, I think the highest speed I've reached is about 40 kilometers an hour, and lots of tiny little rivers across the road that are obviously eating into the road as we speak. So if it really rains hard here, I'm pretty sure this road will have to be closed. It wouldn't be viable to use it after a major rainstorm. But we are still on the Karoo side of the mountain. We haven't actually gone over down into the coastal side of the mountain, where it'll be even wetter with trees. At the moment it's just mostly smaller bushes. Well, it seems like we're slowly but surely getting into the forest. It's almost dark here. Some places the trees are right over the road. It's still quite wet, and the little potholes are still full of water, so I'm having a workout here on the steering wheel, trying to avoid the worst of the road. But it's actually not that bad. I've seen far worse, but I think they don't maintain this road very often. I think it would be quite difficult to get a big grader up here for maintenance, but beautiful. And yes, the plants have changed from little karoo bushes into some trees, and I see some ferns, lots of flowers. I came around the corner just now, and suddenly there was just this huge burst of pink flowers. It almost looks like a peach tree or a plum tree. I don't know, it's possible, maybe it was one on the side of the hill. And there's some buildings being erected here. Some water on the bridge, crossing a small river. And it looks like they're building some accommodation here. A beautiful camping spot, or a place for a chalet. If they do build something here, I will most definitely come and visit. It's started to rain a bit again. Not serious, but just a bit. So let me concentrate on the road. Seen quite a few baboons here. So maybe with a bit of luck you'll see one. Oh, there's some up ahead. Don't know if the camera captured that. Just around the corner, but they might have gone into the bushes now. This is really baboon country. They are king here. There's another little waterfall with a bit of a tiny lake or pool just upstream of that. And here we're crossing a bridge. It's called Convict's Grave. Interesting. And there's actually a spot to pull over here, so I think that's exactly what I'm going to do. And it looks like somebody has also made a fire here at some point, so I'm going to pull off here and stop for a few photos.